What's going on, everybody? How's it going? How's it shaking? This is Bridging the Geekdoms podcast. Yeah, it is. I'm going to try and talk like this the entire show. What do you think?
I don't think I can handle another second of it.
Well, I already want to die, so you can do
it. What's going on, everybody? I'm Slav, and with me, as always, not as always. I wasn't even here last week.
Yeah, we held it down.
We did.
But I have returned. But with me is on one side, this side. Yeah, we'll go this way first. How does this work? Like that. I don't know why that works. This is Jerry from Comic Cuts. And then like that. I don't know why I didn't just do this. Is Colton.
Yo.
So yeah. How's it going, gentlemen? How's your week been? What has been going on in the pop culture world with you two?
I finished a couple games this week.
Nice.
Like what?
Well, I finished Red Dead about 20 minutes ago. Like Red Dead 1 on the 360 a couple minutes ago.
That's not your first time playing it.
Oh no, I 100%ed all the achievements.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know,
he really doesn't have a life. So
hey.
I'm similar. I have a couple friends, but I like sticking to myself. I don't really like most people. I'm the same way. Like an ideal day for me is working the first half of the day, reading comics the second half of the day, and then watching a movie and going to sleep and doing it all again the next day.
You forgot the 2.5 minutes of the hot sweet jerk sesh.
Yes. But I could get it done in like 10 seconds.
Yeah, a man of the minute.
Yeah.
What's that up in the corner? What does that say? Somebody read that?
Hold on. Let me get my mic up here. Animate the Snyderverse. Oh, sorry. Hashtag animate the Snyderverse.
Is Donovan going to be here? Because he is going to lose his mind.
Oh, that was funny this week. That was great.
That was fucking great. The funny part is,
well, let's go with that. Actually, let me pull this up. So Jerry, start talking about what happened here because it is funny.
I devised a plan to prank Donovan. I was like, I am going to tweet out that they need to fire James Gunn to restore the DCU. And immediately Slav was like, oh, this is going to be a blast. Let's see if Donovan actually disagrees with me when I disagree with you, because I think he's just trying to disagree with me. And I was like, okay, but I need to take it like one notch down because that's a little too much and it's kind of embarrassing to say. And then I came up with something that was equally as embarrassing, that the only way to restore the DCU was to hire Zack Snyder to make the Batman movie. So I did it. People took it like very seriously, which I was kind of surprised. Like, if you've been following me for a bit, you would know that's not something I would ever say. But
you deleted the post?
Yeah, because I didn't want people after we got Donovan, I was like, I'm not going to take any more embarrassment on it. But Donovan, like a full 24 hours later, and even after like a full 24 hours later that I said it was a joke, and I didn't want to fully say like it's not. I wanted to say that it was a joke, but I didn't want to say it was just for Donovan. I wanted to save that for the show. But Donovan still fell for it, even though if he just read the first comment under it, he would have saw that I said the whole thing was a joke. And then after I told him it was a joke, a full day later, he says to me, "You don't really believe that, do you?" And I'm like, dude, like,
And I came in and had some fun too.
Yeah. Colton came in. It was a full Bridging the Geekdoms prank on Donovan.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me do this. There we go. Okay. So that happened. And then I saw Matt Jarbo, who is Donovan's like go-to like attack. Like it's either Matt Jarbo or Sean O'Rourke. And here he is. Look.
Oh, hey, hi, Donovan.
And And he said that I used to hate the Snyderverse, but on rewatch I get it. And I said I thought that was Donovan for a moment because I was just like scrolling through X.
It is his logo.
Yeah, it's the logo he uses. And that laughed. But then Donovan got so mad. God, man, I'm not. Nobody's double teaming you, Donovan. It was a joke.
It
Just
was
like
a prank, bro.
It was a joke. I put it right there. Like
He's
my
still
goodness.
so- that's what I try to say. Like, you know, you got to be able to scroll and move on. Otherwise, you know, there was like an art thing that I saw. I think it was from a Miami Art Basel, where it was like social media is harmful to your health. Like that warning was made for people like Donovan, because Donovan needs to learn. Donovan, it's all love. I know you're probably not going to take it that way, but it has to be said. You need to learn how to scroll and move on. Otherwise, social media is going to be really harmful to your mental health.
Yeah. But also, Snyder and Ayer should definitely come back and help out the DCU.
Yeah, they need
this
it.
just in. Hold on. Hold on. I gotta do this. Where's it at? Come on, find it. There it is. So this just in. From Cosmic Book News. That's where you get all of your breaking news, pulp culture beats, man. Like that. Cosmic Book News or nothing else. Exclusive. Zack Snyder's The Dark Knight Returns is ready to go, and Jay Oliva is with him. He says, yeah. He says, I'm told they're itching to go. The movie is built for IMAX, and pieces are lining up for Snyder to finally get his shot at Frank Miller's Batman. I've also been told Christopher Nolan is directly involved with getting the Paramount Warner Brother Discovery deal through. Okay.
Also, hi, Donovan. All love, no hate from us.
Yeah. But the Jeopardy thing is serious. We really do want to have you on to do Jeopardy. That's not a prank. That's not to fuck with you. That's just to have fun. And I think we'd all have fun playing Jeopardy.
Anyway, so looking at this ridiculous thing that I literally just saw 30 seconds ago is the most idiotic thing I think I've ever seen. Look, Cosmic Book News just doesn't. They know no ends of looking like complete idiots. Matt McGloin over there. I would love. Look, I know I've ragged on Matt McGloin, who runs Comic Book News for probably the better part of 2 years, but I want him to come on our show. I actually want to have a discussion with him and find out what is going on. Where, like, why does he post this kind of stuff? Like, that's what I want to do, because it was just about 5-6 months ago when he wrote an article saying that Christopher Nolan is pushing for Universal to get Warner Brothers Discovery. And now here he's saying he's directly involved with getting the Paramount Warner Brother deal through. Why would Christopher Nolan care about Paramount? He's with Universal. Like, that's where his deal is with Universal. Like, and he's not going to move away from Universal because they're making boatloads of money. His last 2 movies were ginormous. So I don't know. Like, this is dumb. And Zack Snyder, The Dark Knight Returns. What? Dude, he hasn't even put out his latest movie, The Last Photographer. Like, come on now. Come on.
That's because he's the last decent photographer that did a DC film. It's a biography.
You're going with this, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I am. I'm the Dark Knight. I'm the Zack Snyder in this conversation.
Jeez. Okay, so who do we have in the comments here? We got Hunter Iggy. He says, did you see Cosmic Book News says that Paramount is going to release to theaters Zack and Ayer cut? Well, Cosmic Book News is now saying this. So which is it?
I would unironically wouldn't mind seeing the Ayer cut, though.
I've read the script. It is better than what we got in 2016 or whenever it came out. But I mean, it is what it is. Like, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it. I wouldn't hate to see it, but I'm not like dying for it. Hungry Almighty, Snyderverse died almost 15 years ago, and we're still on this.
Hi, Hungry. It was fun last week.
Donovan, Cosmic Book News needs to be held accountable for lying on public forums. Spreading misinformation is dangerous and harmful.
Amen to that, brother.
Taking the words out of my mouth.
Hungry Almighty, let's hypothetically say Gunn is out of DC after Man of Tomorrow. Would Warner Brothers really stop the DCU? I don't think so. Not when they still have David Cornsweet and the actors that they have. Here's a better question. Let's say Gunn is out. Is there a chance that whoever owns DC would make the Batman universe canon to the DCU and have DCU Batman be the Reeves Batman? Probably not. Fanimator says, come on, leave Donovan alone. It's all in fun and jest. If he can't laugh at himself and other things, then come on. What are we doing in this world?
If you can't laugh at yourself, laugh at the fact that Zack Snyder isn't coming back to the DCU. No, or laugh at Bob. Bob's fun to laugh at.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. All right, let's get to the first thing that I want to talk about. We got the first 5 minutes of Lanterns. Now, the first 5 minutes of Lanterns, we see a young Jon Stewart sitting there watching an interview with a young Hal Jordan discussing how he became a Green Lantern. And you get a little bit about how Hal Jordan's dad was a test pilot in the Air Force, but died tragically. Hal Jordan basically explains that the way he became a Green Lantern is because he has no fear. And he has no fear because when you lose a parent, that's the greatest fear that you would ever have as a child. So that's essentially what it is. And then we see it jumps up to 20. Actually, we see a really cool scene. I won't say it's cool. It's kind of,
Oh, sorry. My bad. Different button.
Jerry wanted the line right for a second.
He did. We then see a crazy scene where Jon Stewart's dad takes Jon Stewart, puts him up against the wall, puts an apple on his head, and then he shoots an apple with a handgun off of his son's head. But the entire time, Jon just stands there, unfazed, not afraid. So obviously, we're seeing what the future holds for him. There's that. And then we see him in the gym in 2016. So that took place 10 years prior. Now we're in 2016.
20 years. 20
years ago. And then here we go now, where he gets in the car with Hal Jordan, and Hal Jordan just goes, I was late. And then it cuts. I think it was a really cool first 5 minutes. It definitely piqued my interest, and I loved seeing a little bit of the backstory of the two characters. I cannot wait for this. This show comes out Sunday. Comes out this Sunday on HBO Max. What did you guys think? I will start with Jerry, who's above me now somehow.
Yeah, listen, I think it looks good, but I don't like that we're not doing the secret identity thing for Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
That rubbed me the wrong way. Like, come on.
I do hate that there's no secret identities in these superhero films anymore. It pisses me off. But anyways, besides that, like you like it? You excited about Lanterns?
Yeah. I mean, listen, Hal Jordan's one of my all-time favorite characters. My second favorite DC character under Batman. Probably even tied with Batman these days. But yeah, like I think this show is going to be great. I've heard from people that know what they're doing, and I spoke to you guys about this, who I heard that from. So I think the show is going to be fire. I can't wait. It's nice to have a fire superhero show coming back. It feels like we haven't had a really good superhero show in a really long time.
And Colton, what are your thoughts?
I thought it looked dope. I mean, the little bit you see of the costume in this, I'm not a big fan of how it looked. It looked too TV, if that makes sense. It looks like it was cheap. That's just me. And also, someone that was born in 96, also relatable. My dad also took me outside and shot an apple off my head.
Really?
You're gonna.
Yeah.
That's fucking sick.
No, I'm kidding.
I was like, bro.
No, but what a misdirect it would have been if that was like how Jon Stewart died in this universe. Is like first 5 minutes, boom.
Yeah. Oh, look who.
Wait. Am I supposed to piss my pants now, like I said in the chat?
You got to piss on your camera so we can see the waterfall.
I think we'll get booted off of YouTube.
But we have OnlyFans.
Hungry says, What if we got a prequel animated DCU show that tells Hal Jordan's story in the DCU? Animation, you get Hal, and in live action, you get Jon Stewart. A massive Hal fan. I'll take any Hal with Hal at this point. I think a lot of people will be pissed off about that.
I would be.
I think we got to see how this show runs and how it goes, because we don't know what's going to happen at the end. You know, I think that there's still a chance that Hal will be around after this show. Not saying for sure, but I think there's a possibility. And even if not, you can always, if this show is a huge success, you could do Lanterns the 90s and do a show about a young Hal Jordan. You know, like you could do something like that if this show's a big enough success. But I can't wait. Well, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the reason they picked Jon Stewart is because of diversity. I really do think that's the reason. Because think about it. James Gunn likes characters with fun personalities. Hal Jordan is the one with the fun personality, not Jon Stewart. So I just I don't know any other reason to pick Jon Stewart. Everyone knows Hal Jordan is the GOAT Green Lantern. Everyone knows Hal Jordan is the one that made the Green Lanterns popular in the modern age. They barely make Jon Stewart comics. So I just don't understand why. It's the only thing I can think of is like diversity. And listen, I do think diversity, I don't want to say diversity is important, but I do think representation is important. I do think that it is important for kids to get to grow up and see versions of themselves on the screen. But I don't know if this was the right character to do that with when you're sidelining Hal Jordan.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Now, I've always said Jon Stewart is my favorite Green Lantern, but that's mainly because that's who I watched in the Justice League cartoon when I was younger. And I always have been a fan of Jon Stewart. Not that I don't like Hal Jordan. It's just that's what I had. So now, obviously, I've read different comic books with Hal Jordan that I truly enjoyed. But I'm excited to see Jon Stewart. And hey, it is what it is. I don't understand why, and I'm not saying this is you, Jerry. I just don't understand why so many people have to freak out about this kind of stuff. They freak out about the decisions that filmmakers and creatives make. I get that they want to see Hal Jordan on the screen at some point and done well, better than Ryan Reynolds did. But if the story's good, if it's set in the DC universe, if it's exploring DC as a whole, I'm all for it. I don't, let's see, because at some point down the line, there'll be another story and there's going to be a Hal Jordan. Yeah, it's just, that's how I look at it.
The reason why I really understand it, especially when it comes to Hal Jordan, is that we've never had a legitimate live action Hal Jordan. It would be one thing if the Snyderverse at least had a Green Lantern movie that you could watch at home and know it's a faithful adaptation that does the character. We've never had that. And, for comics fans, like I said, they barely make Jon Stewart comics. I mean, the current, it's ended, but, there was supposed to be an ongoing of Jon Stewart right now. They cut it off at 12 issues because it didn't sell well enough. Okay. That should be the warning sign. Maybe you shouldn't have done this. Okay. They can't even do an ongoing for Jon Stewart because it doesn't sell well enough. Meanwhile, Hal Jordan has all the fire stories. So I can understand for some people if, the animated universe was your thing. But the comics are the source material. And I don't know, it's driving me kind of crazy now that we're getting, and I'm pretty confident with what's going to happen in the first episode, and it's going to make a lot of people freak out, which I think was another stupid idea. But what I heard is that the context is going to change everything, and Hal Jordan is still very much has a legitimate role throughout the entire series. And I still like Jon Stewart very much. So it's not like I'm oh, it's not even worth it because we're getting Jon Stewart. It's just Hal Jordan is Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, Jon Stewart.
All right. Look, I'm not saying that John Stewart should be the main Lantern. It's just the one that I grew up and watched as a kid. Let's not forget, I talk about this all the time. I wasn't really reading comics back. Like, I didn't start reading comics until like 15 years ago. So when I was a kid, I knew there were comics. I didn't really read them. My Green Lantern was John Stewart, thanks to the cartoon. And yes, I've read comics and I like Hal Jordan, but I just have that special place for John Stewart. And I think that's how a lot of people feel. And that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, I'm not attacking you over it or anything.
No, I know. Hungry Almighty is
yeah.
Powerful says, my friend Hal Jordan got a movie in 2011. It bombed. The general audience doesn't read comics. All right. Okay. Well, I'm excited. My other show, Slav's Free Talk, on Mondays will be discussing Lanterns every single week during its first season and its season. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be a lot of fun for sure. And maybe I have a guest or two pop in to have those discussions with us. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. All right. Moving on. I had to bring this up because I saw it on X and we talked about this guy a few weeks back, but Jody's Corner. So Jody here, who pisses on the Snyder Cult and the Snyderverse, pisses on anything DCU with James Gunn, says, bring Patty Jenkins back to finish her Wonder Woman trilogy. It's only right. Pam and Mike need to make it happen. Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi, need to make it happen. James Gunn and Snyder both failed DC. Let Patty help save DC. Did he watch Wonder Woman 84?
Yeah.
Did yeah.
He saw the highlights of 1984 and was like, didn't seem that bad. They cut the best 5 minutes of the film.
Yeah, no, Wonder Woman rapes a guy. She never throws a punch. She gets defeated by wind. She doesn't fly. She falls with style. That movie's atrocious. And that was Patty Jenkins. It was Patty Jenkins through and through. So,
Jerry, we had it wrong the whole time. Zack Snyder won't save the DCU. Patty Jenkins will.
Oh God, I'm a fan of Gal Gadot, but like that second Wonder Woman movie, I didn't even watch.
You didn't watch it?
No,
dude, it's terrible. But
if I don't think the movie's going to be good, I don't watch it because my time is valuable. You know?
I get that, but you have to watch it to understand how bad it is. Like everything I just said happens in that movie.
Right.
Like she legitimate rapes a guy. She legitimate gets defeated by wind. One of her biggest comic rivals, Cheetah, is in this movie. And you would think Cheetah probably going to be a physical altercation and a big fight. No, she never throws a punch. She actually puts on the gold wingsuit at one point in time. Has this gold wingsuit, which is huge in the comics. Like it's a battle armor. Right. She uses it to fly there and then takes it off before they even fight.
She didn't want to get it dirty. Duh.
It's so bad. So bad.
Irresponsible movie like that.
Yeah. Anyways, I wanted to make fun of Jody for that because it is one of the dumbest things I've seen on the internet in a while.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We got some comments. Let's kind of catch up on these. Let's see. Hungry says also, I'm not saying John isn't great because I like John, but there's a reason why John's character works better with the League and not his own stories. Okay. Johnny Dome. What's going on, Johnny Dome? I love saying Johnny Dome like that. He says, I would prefer Kevin Smith over her. We're actually going to be talking about Kevin Smith here shortly, so get ready for that. And D-Man says, where's Kevin Smith on this stream? Well, he's not in the stream. We're going to talk about him, but he's not on the stream.
It'd be
really come on if Donovan comes to play Jeopardy.
Let's see if we can get Kevin Smith to be the host and he can ask the questions.
Please. That would be great.
Powerful says Wonder Woman movie of any kind wouldn't work. I love female superheroes, but people don't like them. Only two were successful. The first Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel. Hunter's asking if I saw his other comments. Let's see. Did I miss? That's.
Hunter,
Did you see it?
Yeah.
I didn't see it. Now I got to see it.
Ball. I'm blind.
I'm blind.
I'm losing my hair.
Hungry Almighty, Wonder Woman can get her own solo and be successful in the DCU only if Batman comes first. All right. Clay flop. Johnny Dones says Kevin Smith writes DC stuff, so I'm writing and him writing and directing something would be cool. Yeah, he has, but he's also worked on Marvel stuff before as well, so he's done everything. D-Man says they need to go mythological with the next Wonder Woman movie. I kind of threw a pitch idea yesterday during my watch along where it's set in modern day and they make it as grounded and intense as Captain America the Winter Soldier. And you take that approach with Wonder Woman. You could set it in a certain, like the current time of the DCU, have Steve Trevor alive at that point in time. And I said, have Steve Trevor go on some kind of mission, like undercover mission of some sort, and he gets taken hostage or he's missing. So Diana goes off to get him and rescue him, but make like the reason that he's taken and what he's going to look for a bigger plot point for the whole DCU as a whole. But it would be a good personal story for Diana. You get a cool little story with Steve Trevor. You don't have to kill him off, so he could be around a little longer and just make it grounded in like an espionage type of film like The Winter Soldier. I think that'd be really cool for a Wonder Woman film. I just think it would be. I don't know. Like you don't need to go big and bombastic and mythological and things. Like sometimes you can just bring it down a little bit. Just bring it down a little bit, and it could be fun. Yeah. Powerful says, I agree with Slav. It needs to feel different. Johnny Dome says, to me, since DC seems to let the director do their own stuff, I think I would prefer DC. Matthew says, John Stewart is the best Green Lantern. Hungry Almighty, do you think it's Gunn will go back on we won't release two Batmans in the same year? I never heard him say that. Did he say that before?
I think he did, yeah. And I just think it doesn't make sense. Like they are, and I know Hungry and people who are impatient about Batman don't like when I say this, but it's the truth. They are going to let the Batman Part 2 have its theatrical run before announcing the Batman actor, before doing this stuff, because DC fans don't get along. And the second they have another Batman, there's going to be fights, there's going to be division, and the comparisons are going to impact box office for the Batman Part 2 and for DCU Batman. It's why, like, they don't put similar products on the shelf next to each other, competing products from the same brand, because they don't want it to hurt sales.
Makes sense. Let's see. Powerful says, I'm Muslim and I love Miss Marvel, but Iman Vellani needs to shut up. I think she's really good as Miss Marvel, but yeah, I don't know what that has to do with
I don't even think
in China.
Listen, I happen to like Miss Marvel as a show, but she's so irrelevant that if she says something, I don't even see it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I didn't know she was saying stuff. Like I don't really care. Johnny Dome says, in my opinion, spacing out the big characters is smart. Marvel sort of ran out of their big characters. The thing is everybody says like Marvel ran out of their big characters. Their biggest character wasn't a big character when the movie released. Like Iron Man was not a good selling comic. It was people didn't really care about Iron Man. And, well, he became the biggest character. So, I don't know. Okay, you guys are going on about different things. Let's move on to the next story here. Let's do that so we don't get too behind like you guys did last week.
Whoa. We did good,
held it down, bro.
You guys held it down. All right, so I want to bring this up. We may get a little bit political here, but I felt this was important to kind of discuss because I am a big Halo fan. And we talk about Halo quite a bit on this channel and other things. The composer who made the music for the first 3 Halo games, Marty O'Donnell, was actually set to go to a convention called the SAC Anime this coming, I think this week or next week, or it's coming up. I don't remember when it is. It's coming up. But the whole idea was that they were going to have kind of a reunion with a bunch of the people from the original trilogy of Halo coming together at this convention. But the problem is they decided to disinvite him from this reunion. Oh, it's next month is the conference. Now, that to me is ridiculous because they said that, well, let's pull up the article from Geeks and Gamers here. Let's see. Halo composer and Republican congressional candidate Marty O'Donnell says he has been disinvited from the upcoming SAC anime convention after LGBTQ staff members reportedly objected to his appearance over his political comments. Comments that were previously portrayed by Kamala Harris aligned social media account as calling for the persecution of LGBTQ plus people. There's one significant problem with the characterization. O'Donnell never called for the LGBTQ crowd people to be persecuted in the comments being cited. And he revealed his removal from the convention in the next post. He says, I'm very disappointed that SAC Anime hasn't disinvited me from Halo 25 reunion at their conference next month. If you thought we defeated cancel culture in 2024, guess again. So the reason why I bring this up is because conventions are supposed to be all inviting. They're supposed to be a thing where, hey, we can all just kind of show up and have a good time at a convention, discuss things that we all love, some things that can bring us together, regardless if you're gay, straight, black, white, Portuguese, furry, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Some people may look at you funny if you're dressed like a furry, but who cares? You're there having a fun time. You love comics. You love conventions. You're having a good time just like the other person there.
And you love wearing cat ears. It's a little weird, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like, people like just have fun. Look, Marty O'Donnell has been, yes, he is a Republican congressional candidate. He is running for Congress, and he's made comments that align with people on the right. But what happened to this world where we can't just have differing opinions, but be in the same room at the same time? Like, that is ridiculous to me. Like, conventions are supposed to be all inviting. Doesn't matter who or what you are. You're invited. Hey, come on in. As long as you don't physically hurt somebody, come on in. Yet they're not going to allow Marty O'Donnell to come in. I think that's pathetic. I think it's ridiculous. I think people should just scream at this SAC anime convention and tell them that how wrong it is, because it is. It is absolutely wrong. But what do you guys think? I don't know if you guys heard about this or read about it. What do you guys think?
Well, first of all, what did he say?
Right here. Sorry. On July 17th, the verified headquarters account on X, formerly associated with the Kamala Harris campaign, Kamala HQ Operations, posted a clip of O'Donnell appearing on the WDW Pro show. The account made an explosive accusation against him. It says, unearthed, Trump-endorsed Nevada GOP candidate Marty O'Donnell calls for persecution of LGBTQ plus people and treating them as an existential threat. The media cannot be played. I can't play it.
Yeah,
but that is not what O'Donnell says in the relevant comments, as can be seen in the video player. Let's see if I do this. Here we go. You probably can't hear it, can you?
No.
Can you hear it now? Let's see if I do this. Stop screen. Share screen. Let's see if we can do this again.
But the world that we live in that is like that, to buy you some time to do what you're doing, is really just we are too connected with social media and everything, and everybody thinks that everybody gives a fuck about what you think. Yeah. And if you don't think that way, you're wrong. And we just live in a cesspool like that. That's my
Here it goes. Hopefully you guys can hear it now.
I don't hear anything.
No?
Mm-mm. Yeah, I don't hear it.
I press to hear it. Why can we not hear it?
Hey, powerful. Whoa. Halo's still cool, damn it. Don't be saying no one cares about Halo.
Share audio. I'm going to try one more time.
From some sections of the East and West.
And it disappeared again.
Can't hear it again?
Yeah,
Nope.
I can't hear it.
That's ridiculous. I don't know. He doesn't say what everybody says he says. But anyways, go ahead. What are your thoughts?
Listen. Sorry, were you going to go?
No, go ahead. I was just going to say we live in a cesspool and everybody needs to get off the internet.
Yeah, I can't stand when people say, oh, we don't feel safe. Like, you don't feel safe over words, especially when you're someone who like champions some of the most radical people in the country that support violence and whatever. It's just ridiculous. I'm sorry, but this is not freedom of speech. And if you private companies, okay, well, it's spiritually against freedom of speech. And I don't even know what he said because we didn't hear it. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think that is someone who's like a famous composer for a famous video game that happens to have one of the best scores of all time should be disinvited because, and I don't buy that people don't feel safe. I think that's bullshit.
I should have just read further down. This is what he says. He says, talk about an existential threat. This is where we are right now. We're on the cliff looking down into the abyss. And the abyss is Marxism. It's anti-Western philosophy. There's a weird alliance of all these groups who like to pretend they're oppressed. The LGBTQ plus people, the Islamists, the Marxists, they're all together now. That's what he said.
So he spoke about the red, green, pink alliance. Big deal.
Yeah.
Well, that's because he specifically said LGBTQ, A, B, C, D, E, F, Gs, and they took it and ran.
Yeah, they didn't. I don't think anyone didn't feel safe. I think they didn't like what he said. And this is like peak woke. I mean, it's just like, it's weaponized social justice. I mean, could people be offended by that because he included LGBT? Yeah. But like, I don't think that's really what it was. I think that people didn't like that he's talking shit about Marxism. I think that's more the thing.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I don't know. I hate this. I hate that this kind of stuff keeps happening, especially to somebody as cool as Marty O'Donnell. Like, I've been following his career since the early 2000s because of Halo. So when I saw this and this is what was going on, I was kind of like, oh, come on. Like, of all people, like, he's a stand-up guy. He's a nice guy.
Yeah. And I'm not endorsing what he said. It's not something I would have said. But I don't think people didn't feel safe. Like, I don't buy that.
No,
yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Also, D-Man, I would greatly appreciate, and I think we should make Halo great again hats, but, MHGA. And make them green.
Make them great again. Boy. I guess a lot of people were upset about Campaign Evolved. I liked it, but I still haven't finished the new missions. I started playing them. They're not great, but it is what it is. It's Halo. It's fun. Speaking of Halo, actually a little off topic. So my brother, who is 8 years older than me, so he's almost 50 years old, has kind of just like he's discovered, not that he didn't play video games when he was younger, but he's sort of discovered video games now late in his life here. And he played through the first Halo game recently for the first time. And he texted me today and he's like, I just played through the first Halo game. It was loads of fun. It was so much fun. I'm like, dude, welcome to 2001.
Yeah.
Dude, your brother's going to have the coolest midlife crisis.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're just going to go over there and be like, I found this old Atari here.
Dude, he had an Atari. He had a Sega Genesis. And then after that, I carried on the household with video game systems. But he had that kind of stuff when he was younger. But he kind of got out of it. He was too busy having sex and stuff like that.
Wow. We will not talk about dudes that get ass on this podcast.
Isn't he your brother-in-law?
Hey.
Wait, what?
Didn't you say he's your brother-in-law, Slav?
Who?
The guy that just got into Halo.
Oh, no, that's my brother. Like my actual brother.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was like, whoa. We're talking about
And powerful, do not worry. We don't support or endorse Islamophobia.
we do not. No. I mean, people need to, have good lives. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
You do it, like, as long as you're not hurting others. I don't care what.
If you give me a reason to hate you, I'm going to hate you. If you're cool, then we're cool.
Yeah, easy way to put it. All right, let's move on, and then we'll hit some of these comments in a minute because I thought this is interesting. Coyote vs. Acme debuted with a perfect 100% score on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, this movie has quite the journey over time here. So this film originally was made and going to be put out by Warner Brothers Discovery. David Zaslav and the company there were like, nope, we're not doing it. We're shelving it. It's getting put in a vault, never to be seen again. And then this company called Ketchup, after a couple years, decided to, hey, we'll take it off of you. I think they paid $70 million. Is that what it is in here? Something like that. They spent a crazy amount of money for it so they could release it. And now it's coming out later this year, very soon, actually. And actually, I think, is it this weekend? Maybe it's, I don't know. Words are tough for me to read. Anyways, so it's coming out and people are loving it. What is weird about this is I read the script for it. Now, I'm starting to question whether it was the actual script for the movie or not, but I read a script for it a couple years ago when all this was going on, and the script was complete ass. Like, it was like I read this script and I was like, they can't release this movie. But now apparently it's looking pretty good. It's dropped down a bit. Let's take a look at what it is now.
We have gone on the record on this show and said this was going to be ass.
Yeah, definitely have. It is currently at a 96% after 47 reviews. So, what do you guys think? Are you gonna go see it? Are you gonna go see it?
No.
Check it out. Comes out.
Maybe if it's on streaming and I have my niece, maybe.
Yeah. Anything, Jerry?
No, it just reminds me of the canceled Batgirl movie.
Look, that thing looked horrendous from things that we saw.
100%. If you've ever seen Jack and Jill, the Adam Sandler movie, you remember what I think I've said this before, but when at the end of the movie, Al Pacino sees the Dunkin' Donuts commercial he filmed, and it was so corny and cringe, and he's like, has anyone seen this? Burn it. Nobody could. That's what Zaslav said after seeing Batgirl. That's what he said after seeing Coyote vs. Acme. Somehow Coyote vs. Acme ended up coming out. I don't really care. I'm just glad Batgirl didn't. Because if you love DC, you should not want DC to release a movie like Batgirl that's just going to embarrass them for ages. So I think it was a good thing that Batgirl didn't come out. I think that the people that cry about it online are full of shit because they never cared about the movie. Nobody cared about that fucking movie until it was canceled. And if you say otherwise, you're full of shit, and I'm calling you on it. And Coyote vs. Acme, I liked Looney Tunes when I was 4 years old. I'm 35. I'm not sitting down to watch fucking Coyote vs. Acme, okay?
I am one of those ones that I love the Looney Tunes. One of my favorite movies is Looney Tunes Back in Action. Wow. I love that movie. Come on. First off, you have Brendan Fraser, Leone, and Timothy Dalton. Like, come on.
I love Timothy Dalton.
And Steve Martin. Like, come on, man.
That is a fucking killer cast, I will say. I've never seen this movie, but now I might watch a YouTube video on it.
You have to watch Looney Tunes Back in Action. I think it came out in like the late 90s, early 2000s. It was because Space Jam did so good, so they were like, hey, let's do another movie. It was fantastic.
I have a baby niece and nephew now, so maybe I'll watch it with them.
There you go. But anyways, so for me, I want this to be good. Like, I want this to succeed because I love that kind of, it's just fun. I love when they have animation with real life. sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Looney Tunes, I think, has done it the best over the years, with the exception of Roger Rabbit, which was, back in the 80s. But again, I hope it does well. I'm going to watch it. Am I going to go to the theaters? Probably not. But I will watch it when it's on streaming. No, what do you think, Colton?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I'll watch. Like, I'm watching my niece and we need background music because she's like 6 months old. Sure, I'll check it out, but I'm not going to spend money on this.
Come on, you got John Cena, you got Will Forte, a story by James Gunn. Come on, let's go. Let's do it. But the only thing I'm worried about is, as Jerry pointed out, is the Batgirl thing. And people, if this does well, and you have a high rating, let's say the audience score is high as well, they're all going to start screaming, "Release Batgirl, release Batgirl." And it's like, no, don't. Just don't. Yeah. And it's even going to be the Snyder cult who was one of the ones that were like, they shouldn't make this movie. They're going to turn around and say, "Hey, release it," because they just love to piss on anything that is DC right now. Yep. It's pathetic.
Yeah, and I like Batgirl as a character. I do. But that movie never looked good. I never liked the casting. And I like Brendan Fraser. Maybe it would have been cool to see him. But
I think they should have cast Brendan Fraser as Batgirl.
In the whale suit. In the whale suit.
Maybe more people would have seen it because people seem to be into that kind of thing nowadays. But if that movie was good or even decent, it would have released. Warner Brothers has released a ton of shitty movies. That movie was so bad that they didn't release it. You wouldn't have liked it. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Can't say it any better. All right, what are you guys saying in the chat? We got a whole bunch of chats here that we should probably. Let's see. Sid says, "Haha, Coyote is going to be the monumental flop for Warner Brothers." Let's see. Zaslav, from Sid says, "Zaslav, another flop maker." Johnny Dome says, "People afraid of llamas is llamaphobia." Sid says, "By the way, I've got my tickets already." There you go. D-Man, plenty of critically acclaimed movies has flopped at the box office. Very true.
Yeah, like the Titanic.
Sid says, "Batgirl might not have made money, but it looked good. It had Firefly." Oh, yeah. Firefly. That's who Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser. D-Man, Batgirl can't be any worse than Supergirl.
Dun, 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 dun.
D-Man, is there judgment off on which movies are good or bad? Look, Coyote vs. Acme got canned, yet look how good it is. Well, how do you know how good it is, D-Man? You're trusting just these 47 reviews?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that the Coyote, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but I had heard, or maybe I was under the impression that the Coyote vs. Acme movie that released was very different from the one that they scrapped. Is that accurate?
I haven't heard that. No, I thought from what I understand, they just took the movie and released it. Maybe they had to finish some things on it, but from what I understand, like I said, I read a script that I was told was the Coyote vs. Acme script a couple years ago. It was ass. It played like what I would expect because it's basically a court case, and during the court case, they kind of go back and forth between events that have caused the Coyote, Wile E. Coyote, to get into this judicial issue, time with them. So it was, to me, it just didn't play right on this script on the page, but maybe it plays better, in action. I don't know.
I mean, it is a good premise for a movie.
Yeah, it could be. Could be. Johnny Dome says they didn't want these movies. I can see it. If it is actually bad, Warner Brothers is making a Speedy Gonzalez movie and still not sold to anyone. Are they? I didn't hear about that. D-Man, Batman characters. Which Batgirl would have had in its... Oh, wait. Batman characters which What? I don't know what you're saying. Done better at the box office than Superman-related characters. Maybe. I don't know.
Release movie.
Yeah. I don't know. Hungry says Comic Cuts. It's not gonna like this, but at this 2028 should be a Justice League movie, and then Brave and the Bold after. The DCAMU did this with JL War, and then Son of Batman. Animation is vastly different, dude.
Yeah. Listen, I love you, but absolutely fucking not. The problem with this are two things. Number one, you would be doing the same kind of thing Snyder did, rushing into BVS, number one. Number two, I don't think that rushing to Justice League the year after Man of Tomorrow is the ideal move. I think that they obviously want to tell some kind of story after Man of Tomorrow and then lead into Justice League. But what I had heard is that Lanterns does lead into Justice League. That's what I heard.
Dun, dun, dun! Whoa, we're all moved.
Musical chairs.
Johnny Dome, I usually skip the coyote parts when I watch Looney Tunes. To me, it was too repetitive and predictable. That was the funniness about it. Come on, man.
But he would run into a rock that had a tunnel painted on it. It was fucking hilarious.
He would paint the tunnels so it didn't look like he could run through it. Then the Roadrunner would run through it, but then the coyote couldn't.
Yeah, somehow the Roadrunner broke physics and was able to pass all of his atoms through the wall, but the coyote couldn't.
All right, let's move to the next topic, which is Ewan McGregor wants to spend the rest of his career playing Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is a story that you picked out, Colton. What do you have to say here?
I mean, I am a big fan of Ewan McGregor. Is it Ewan? Ewan?
Ewan.
Ewan? Oh, wow. I've been pronouncing that wrong for 30 years.
Ewan McGregor.
But I think
Wax McGregor.
We'll just say Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan wanting to play Obi-Wan for the rest of his career is cool. But it's a shame that Disney probably won't bring him back unless they're like, please revive the universe for us. Well, we're gonna shoehorn you into Grogu, please.
That Obi-Wan show was atrocious. It was atrocious. It was not as bad as The Acolyte. Nothing can be that bad in the story. I hope not. But it was bad. It was really, 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 really bad. And apparently Ewan McGregor's been talking about like, hey, we could do a continuation of that of my story after I leave Luke and Leia, who didn't really know me in the original trilogy, but now know me now. And it's like, dude, you guys fucked it up enough already. We don't need you fucking it up. Look, as much as I love Ewan McGregor and love to see him portray the character, it's so tough for me, for loving Star Wars as much as I do, to see the damage that continuously is being done to the characters, to the lore, to the story. I'm just over it. Like, we got a Star Wars movie coming out in like 9 months, and I'm just not excited.
Do we really?
Mandalorian and Grogu was terrible, and now we got another one coming in May, and I
think it's going to be a good movie, but I don't think it's the kind of movie Star Wars needs to restore the brand. The reason I think it's going to be a good movie is simply the fact that Disney is, putting together Sean Levy and Ryan Gosling for another movie. They're obviously happy with Starfighter, but like, you need Jedi, you need Sith, you don't need Mandalorian, you don't need Starfighter. At this point, like, hire Michael fucking Bay or something. Like, you need a movie. You need a movie.
Why is the Star Destroyer turning into a Transformer?
There's explosions everywhere. We don't understand why.
When Obi-Wan came out and they played like the final scene where he, went to, what the fuck is the planet called again? The sand planet? Tatooine. When he goes to Tatooine to see
this guy?
Luke Skywalker. And they do the what I've done. So I just thought of Linkin Park. At this point, like, if they made a Michael Bay Star Wars movie, it would be better than anything they've done in the past 10 years.
Probably not wrong on that, but look, here's the thing. I don't trust anything Lucasfilm does right now or Disney does with Star Wars right now because of Mandalorian and Grogu, The Acolyte, Obi-Wan. Shall I go on? No, I don't trust them right now because of all of those problems. Sure, Sean Levy and Ryan Gosling are getting hired again to do Ghost Rider. Look, I'm excited to see Ghost Rider, but I don't have any excitement or care to see it because of them working on Starfighter together. I'm just hoping they do Ghost Rider right. I don't do we trust their opinion on movies after what they've done over the last 6 years now? I don't. So I just, come on. Look, I love you, Ewan. You're great. You're one of my favorite actors out there. I'll watch pretty much any movie you do. It's time to I think it's time. Just hang up the robe and the lightsaber.
Yeah, I can get behind a season 2 of the Obi-Wan show if it's just 10 episodes of him being a moisture farmer.
Look, I and you, Colton, you and I think we were both writing a far better story for Obi-Wan
100%.
than what they gave us. And it's a damn shame. It really is. Now, Jerry, I want to touch on this real quick because you brought it up and what Star Wars needs right now. And you're right. Starfighter is not what Star Wars needs right now. What Star Wars needs right now, and despite my disdain and distaste and my non-pleasure of Daisy Ridley, they need to do Star Wars Episode 10. That's what they need to do. Star Wars Episode 10 without J.J. Abrams. You need to get somebody in there who understands what Star Wars is, understand that Star Wars is Skywalker. I've talked about this how many times?
No.
Star Wars is Skywalker. Skywalker is Star Wars.
No.
If you want to solidify Star Wars again, you make sure that there's a Skywalker in that saga film. And then you can move outside it. That's how you do it. But I know you guys are going to yell at me.
Yeah, I disagree. I think they need a new Jedi, a new Sith, and completely removed from the timeline of episodes 1 through 9. Do something at a completely different time. And that way you don't have to worry too much about crossing over with the lore because they can't hire people that get it right. And they would just have an easier time. And I think that new characters are what they, listen, people thought that Steve Rogers is Captain America, and he is. But now they got David Colton, and David Colton's great. Have you read that yet, by the way?
No.
Oh, you're going to love it. Obviously Sam Wilson doesn't cut it, but David Colton fucking does. It's got the right characters.
All right. I think we're going to move on from this. Time to move on. Look, we're going to get into a heated discussion here shortly with our main.
We'll get into heated discussion. The only thing that saves Star Wars, the Old Republic. At this point, you don't even deter from the fucking games. Just beat for beat at this point. It's written for you. Just do it.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Elder Scrolls 6 hype up after Asha Sharma sees live playthrough. So apparently Asha Sharma, the head of Xbox, has seen Elder Scrolls 6. I don't believe it. I don't think it's real. But she has stated the scale and grandeur are incredible. So go ahead, Colton. What do you have to say?
So basically, Bethesda. There we go. Bethesda. I want to say BioWare, and I knew it wasn't BioWare. Invited her.
We're talking about Knights of the Old Republic, so I get it.
Yeah, that's genuinely why. But they gave her, because apparently she's been riding their ass hey, it's been 15 years. Where's the fucking game? Yeah. And they gave her a playthrough of it. And apparently she says it looks really good. She's been teasing the name of the game, the Elder Scrolls 6 blank. Yeah. So there's not much really more to build on it, but it's nice to see that we're actually getting news on a game that's been in production for 15, 16, 17, 18, 20 years.
Yeah, I'm guessing, though, that since it appears she probably said the Elder Scrolls 6 and the name, and then they had to retract it before they released it, the name's going to get leaked sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Well, no, if you scroll down a little bit, it did. The Elder Scrolls 6 official announcement teaser is crazy.
Man. That's an interesting name.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't know. Are you excited, Jerry, about Elder Scrolls?
Nah, I never got into these games, but I like Asha Sharma. I could fix her.
Sid asked Slav, when is the next movie night? It is Tuesday. Tuesday nights are my movie night. So be on the lookout for that.
Oh, but when are you going to invite us on for a movie night, bastard?
Okay. Yeah, you guys can come on to a movie
doing
night,
all these movie nights, you don't even invite us.
But we got to play it serious. Like, we're not making fun of the movie. We're having conversation
I can
about
play serious. Unless something stupid happens, then I mean, we walk into it.
All right. Halloween, the game, banned in Australia and New Zealand after rating refusal. Halloween, the game, will not be sold in Australia and New Zealand as the Australian Classification Board has denied the horror game a rating. Is it really that terrible?
No, you want to know why? I'll sum this up for you. It's none of the gore. It's none of the murder. It's none of the weapons. It's not
titty.
The character. No, not even titty. It's not even the character. It's because there's drug use in the game.
Really?
Yeah, there's drug use in the game, and they will not even rate it based on that.
That's why. Actually, I don't even know why I said titty, because that was only in the Rob Zombie ones. I don't think any of the other ones had nudity in them.
No, because it was like that weird time in the 80s where they didn't do that.
Yeah, 80s and 90s, and Halloween H2O didn't have any boobies in it because it was, just not something they did then.
Yeah, weird. Boobies in horror movies are like a really, really recent thing in the genre.
No, not recent, because the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Friday the 13th movies, they had it.
I guess.
Anyways, okay. That's ridiculous. I didn't even know this game was being made, to be honest with you. Are they trying to kind of build on the success that was the Friday the 13th game 10 years ago?
Yeah. Oh, so fun fact about that game. Remember Adam Sessler from X-Play?
Yeah.
He was
that
the
douchebag.
Yeah, he was the one behind that game, and they never got the rights to Jason. And that's why the game got shut down.
That's crazy. That's wild. So it's shut down. Like, you can't even play it now?
No, I don't think you can. I don't remember if it has a single player version, but I know you can't play it anymore. You can't even buy it.
What were you saying, Jerry?
I said Australia is so soft. This is so ridiculous.
Dude, they are so soft. Like, some of the stuff they're doing is nuts lately, but
Great.
You would think that a country where koalas kind of just come at you from every direction and try to kill you and give you chlamydia, they would be a little more open to this stuff, but
yeah, or literally everything is trying to kill you.
Yeah, literally everything.
Steve
Now this one's a very niche thing that I thought was cool. Have either of you guys played RuneScape?
I never have. I had a buddy who played it. Alex, remember Alex? He played.
So it's for general gist, it's a cheap generic knockoff of World of Warcraft. So for reference, to get level 99 doing shrimp and anchovies, shrimp give you about 3 XP every time you catch one. And I think anchovies give you 5. And this guy has taken, I think it was like 4 years to do this. And if you scroll down a little bit further, he caught like 200 and some odd thousand shrimp and well, yeah, see there you have fishing points. So imagine doing that for 4 years and you're doing nothing but clicking. There's no interaction in the game. I mean, you could talk to people, but that's it.
That's so stupid.
I mean, as someone who's played RuneScape, that's fucking impressive. And you have way more dedication than I will ever have in my life to do something. Ever.
So dumb. All right. I know we're gonna jump into comic stuff, but this one I actually put into the chat here, or into the outline, or whatever things. So Marvel Comics and Star Wars have announced a upcoming crossover event. A galaxy far, far away is headed to the world outside your window. To celebrate the 50th anniversary of Star Wars and Marvel Universe collide in Star Wars Marvel Hope Assembles, launching in January 2027. It will be written by pulp culture icon Kevin Smith and drawn by Uncanny X-Men superstar Dave Marquez. The historic 5-issue comic book limited series assembles heroes and villains from both universes in a single saga for the first time. The series follows Marvel heroes as they see the events of Star Wars unfolding on Earth and before their very eyes. After a spell shatters reality, the Avengers, Spider-Man, and more will team up with heroes like Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, and Han Solo and Chewbacca, while Doctor Doom will align himself with the likes of Darth Vader and the Galactic Empire. I want to know Jerry's thoughts on this before I get your thoughts.
You know,
Jerry.
I'm a little torn, but I'm leaning more towards hating it. And I'll tell you why. The only redeeming aspect to this is Doctor Doom teaming up with Darth Vader. That is the only thing about it that sounds cool. But why? I mean, maybe they're trying to help sales for their Star Wars comics. But then why is Kevin Smith writing it? And I like Kevin Smith, okay? I do. I grew up on his movies. I'm a fan of his. But I'm a fan of his stoner movies, not his comic writing.
Yeah. So Colton.
One, Kevin Smith definitely was please let me do this. Please, 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 please let me do it. Please, please, please. And got on their nerves enough to do this.
Yeah.
And I don't see how this is going to be good because the two universes to me don't seem like they'll meld well together. The story cannot be that good to make this make sense.
I agree.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Kevin Smith is in this era of his career where he is just whoring himself out however he can. He doesn't care essentially what it is. If it's going to make him some money, sure. And especially if he's going to be able to get to play in a sandbox that he adores, such as Star Wars and Marvel. So I get it. Look, he did Masters of the Universe for Netflix. He did 2 seasons of that, which was critically panned. You sit there and you take a look, guys, Kevin Smith, as Jerry said, he had his stoner films of the past were fantastic. I think everything after Clerks 2 starts to go downhill quite a bit. And Clerks 3 was horrendous in my opinion. Granted, he had some pretty cool, movies. Red State was really good. The Walrus film Tusk was interesting. But then, he was trying to just do some weird shit and whatever. He's getting finance for it. He's able to do it. Go for it. Knock yourself out. I don't care what you do. I agree. I'm a little worried about this. I'm just a little itsy bitsy worried because his comics aren't typically they're not holy crap, these are amazing comics. I take a look at his Batman comics he was doing a while back. What was it? Cacophony. Is that what it was called?
Daredevil, Guardian Devil. Quiver.
Quiver was actually pretty good. I did like Quiver quite a bit. But here's the thing. He is he doesn't expand the universe ever. It's very just very secluded, close to the chest of the characters that he's writing about. This is a shit ton of characters he's going to have to include in this. And it's, what is it? A 5-issue run. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
They could do 38 or 44 page issues. They do that a lot. So that's possible. But even still, Kevin Smith is not the guy for this. I don't even think Marvel's not convincing me that they're taking this seriously because Kevin Smith is writing it.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting. Why? I get that they want to celebrate the 50th anniversary. I get that. And I'm sure, and what I'm gathering from this, because it's the 50th anniversary of A New Hope. So is it just going to be the events of New Hope are playing out, and it just so happens that there's Marvel characters involved with it? Because I can't imagine they're going to go beyond A New Hope because that's the 50th anniversary. So maybe that makes it a little easier for him
I
to
don't
write
think
it?
it'll be. I think it's just a gimmick. I think that they're going to say it's for the 50th anniversary of New Hope. And I think that I think the goal of this is probably to sell more Star Wars comics, or maybe to just sell any comics.
Oh. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Look, I'm excited about them doing some interesting things with Star Wars next year. This isn't it, though. It really isn't. Like, just give us a good like Star Wars comic run for once. The last good one was Darth Vader.
Oh, fair.
See, yeah. See?
Yeah.
Dr. Afra wasn't bad, or Afra wasn't terrible.
Is it Afra? I don't know.
Dr. Afro sounds hilarious.
All right. I think that's all for what we have. What do you have, Jerry? For
you know, the new issue for Absolute Batman came out yesterday, and they really throw Bruce Wayne, Absolute Bruce Wayne, through the ringer. So if you haven't read it yet, I'm going to get into spoilers on this one. So, but
what is it? Which one? Number 24 or 23?
I forget. Let me take a look. I forget the number. I think it's 23. Hold on. So
yeah, it's 23.
Yeah, so 23. And basically, you know, all the villains, like, not all of them, but a lot of them are Batman, Bruce Wayne's best friends from growing up. You know, Ozzy, Waylon, Harvey, and he is like not assuming, but he believes that they're all working for Jack Grimm. Jack Grimm is the Joker, but Absolute Joker is almost like Bruce Wayne. He's rich. He's in the mansion. He's got the Joker cave, but he's like really controlling everything. And it's getting like hard to read because you feel so bad for Bruce. Like he just keeps getting thrown through the ringer. And the writing on it is just absolutely incredible. Like every single issue is better than the next one. Every single one. It's absolutely insane. And if you're not reading this, like you're missing out. And if you are looking for a comic book to understand why people love comics and to get yourself into comics, this is the fucking one. Okay. It is that fucking good. And we're going to talk about the New Avengers saga because Slav had texted me for comic recs for Marvel. And I told him, I'm going to give you them, but you got to read this. This is the greatest story ever told. And the reason that this run is so good is because Jonathan Hickman wrote it. And Jonathan Hickman is the greatest comic writer of all time. No one even comes close. I don't care who you're talking about. I don't care if you want to talk about Stan Lee. I don't care if you want to talk about John Byrne. I don't care who the fuck you want to talk about. Hickman is the GOAT. And the reason that this story is so good is because it really is about the incursions. And in the incursions, the universes are colliding. So Earths collide into each other. And in order to save themselves, Tony Stark forms the Illuminati. And he forms the Illuminati, and originally Captain America, Steve Rogers, was included. But Steve Rogers said to the team, he was like, I know what you guys are going to do. You're going to build some crazy machine to save yourselves and blow up the other Earths so you don't collide. And I'm telling you, that's not okay. And I'm never going to let you do it because the second you build the machine, you're just going to gradually become, okay, well, we're going to use the machine. And I'm going to get into spoilers. It's still worth reading it. But Doctor Strange does a spell on Steve Rogers. So Steve Rogers forgets about the Illuminati. So Reed Richards ends up building the device, the antimatter injection system. and it blows up the other Earths before they collide. And as time goes on, what's so crazy about it is you, the reader, you want them to use the machine to save themselves. And the reason is because they're either all going to die or they could save themselves. But what it's really about is the fact that Jonathan Hickman wants you to feel guilty for it. He wants you to feel guilty because you shouldn't be able to decide who lives and who dies. And the second you use that machine, you're playing God. And it's just such a crazy thing to sit with and experience. It really is the greatest story ever told. And that's one of the reasons I'm so hyped for Avengers Doomsday. Avengers Doomsday is going to pull a lot from this comic, and Secret Wars is the swan song ending to that comic. But if you really want a comic that like you can understand how great comics could be, that's another one. But like the whole saga, I think, is like 77 issues, and that's before the Secret Wars 12. So it's like 90 issues total, something like that. But it really is worth reading. It is that fucking good. It is the greatest story ever told.
Interesting. All right. All right. That's good. Is that it? Any more comic stuff?
Oh, no, that's it for today.
All right. Hungry Almighty says, do you think it's possible that the reason the MCU X-Men movie won't have the Wolverine is because they are waiting for X-Men cast to get slightly older over time so that they can cast Wolverine? I think they just want to get the smell of Hugh Jackman off of that for a while so people can accept a new Wolverine personally.
I think that's a big part of it for sure, because the second there's certain characters that are difficult to recast because they're always going to be compared to their predecessors. Iron Man's one of them. Wolverine's another one. And Wolverine is even more difficult because they don't really have a good excuse for not using Hugh Jackman. They could say, oh, well, we can't pay Robert Downey Jr. $40 million a movie forever. Where Hugh Jackman, I'm sure they pay him a lot of money, but it's nowhere close to 40 mil a movie. And I also think part of it is that they want fans to buy in to other characters. And the second you put Wolverine in there, everyone's going to, like, all the casuals are going to be focused on Wolverine. Whereas if you do an X-Men movie and, you do Cyclops and you make him the main character and you don't have Wolverine in it for a bit, now you get people bought in on Cyclops.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So the last thing I'll bring up before we move into the main topic is Johnny Dome asked thoughts on his Bizarro comic.
I never read it.
Yeah, I didn't read it either.
Yeah, I've never read it.
All right. So main topic. Is there superhero fatigue? All right. So the basis of this is because I made a video the other day on Slav Street Talk where I kind of discussed why I believe there is superhero fatigue. I talked to Jerry about it a little bit via text message. I guess it was earlier this week. Maybe it was last week. I don't remember. And we said, oh, no, let's save this for the show. Let's make this the main topic for the show. So that's what we're doing here. So let's just lay out first what I think why there is superhero fatigue. Kind of the stuff that I talked about in my video. One of the big reasons why I say that, because we take a look at the superhero genre, say 10, 15 years ago compared to today. Obviously, there's an issue. It's not making as much money. The audience isn't as interested or invested in these films as they were back then. Now, some people love to sit there and say, well, it's due to lack of quality. And I don't disagree with that. I don't. I do believe that there is a lack of quality now compared to 2015, 2016, 2017. However, that's not to say that the quality wasn't bad with some movies back then either, because the quality was bad. And I know I'm not going to bring up what I think is one of the worst MCU movies. I'm not going to bring that up as saying that's bad quality, even though it is, but a lot of people are going to disagree with me. But I take a look at movies like Ant-Man and the Wasp, Those two movies which came out back then, they weren't great. They weren't great movies. They were B-level movies, but they made a shit ton of money still. Now imagine those two movies being brought out in today's world during 2024, 2025. They wouldn't make the money that they made back then. They just wouldn't. So that's kind of my basis in saying, look, there's fatigue. Because yes, quality may be low, but quality has not always been extremely high for these films. It was low with some films back then, but those movies were still making money. Even your B tier characters, your Guardians of the Galaxy, your Ant-Mans, your Aquamans, like they were making bunches and bunches and bunches of money. The B tier, not your A tier characters. Now your A tier characters kind of struggle to make money. And even when you have a good quality film like Thunderbolts, the interest just isn't there because they're just kind of like, we're kind of over this whole superhero thing. The Thunderbolts is a fantastic film, just didn't make money. However, I say if you release that movie in 2015, 2016, it makes probably $800 million. So to me, yes, quality plays a role, but when you take a look at what it was 15 years ago to today, yeah, people have lost interest. The thing is that's not a bad thing. All genres do this. Westerns, action films of the 80s, comedies, spoof films, all those genres have had their moment in the sun and then fallen off. That doesn't mean that they just go away forever. They're still around. You still get them in some form or fashion. And sometimes over time, sometimes it's just re-envisioning, reimagining, redoing the approach to these genres to get them back into the public interest again. And that's what they need to do with comic book films. So that's my whole basis on why I say, yes, there is superhero fatigue, but it's not a bad thing because it's not like we're going to lose superhero films. They're still going to be there. They just have to kind of relearn on what to do to get a big audience like they once did. So, Jerry, I know this is something that you feel passionate about as well. What do you think?
I don't think superhero fatigue was ever real. I think that it became a narrative because superhero movies started to underperform. And I think that there are a lot of forces in the industry that never liked the genre being as big as it was because it took away from a lot of other aspects of the business of movies. The problem was never the superhero genre itself. Comic book movies, superhero movies, they still perform when they offer something different. But we are also coming out of COVID, and the business of cinema has never fully bounced back. And I think that people were tired of mediocre movies, hence the word mid becoming so popular. And audiences are more selective, but the success of a lot of these movies contradicts the idea of total fatigue. And the MCU happened, like I always say, the Avengers are the face of the genre. And the Avengers, aside from the fact that they were absent for the past 6 years or whatever, 7 years, there were a lot of movies from the MCU where, like, you could pinpoint where the downturn happened. And I think the downturn happened with Doctor Strange, the Multiverse Madness. Like, that movie was supposed to be a banger. Everyone had such high expectations for it because it's the multiverse saga, and this was going to be the movie that made the multiverse crazy. And it really didn't. It didn't make the multiverse any cooler for the MCU. It didn't make the MCU any better, and it didn't make Doctor Strange any better. It just fucking sucked. And it had cameo porn, so that became, kind of seen as a gimmick for a long time, and people still call it a gimmick. People even claim it's a gimmick from No Way Home, where it wasn't. But again, No Way Home did $1.3 billion. Spider-Man Brand New Day is there's a good chance it does $2 billion. So I think that the success of a lot of these movies contradicts the idea of total fatigue. And, you know, they're going to need to, like, people also got tired of the formula. And I think that that's being reinvented as we speak. You know, you could see, like I've been saying, there's a new style for the MCU, which is emotional and character driven. And you saw that with Thunderbolts. You saw that with Spider-Man Brand New Day. You could even say that for Fantastic Four. But these characters obviously have enormous cultural staying power. You know, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, X-Men, they're always popular. They're always going to be popular. I don't think superhero fatigue was ever a real thing. I think it was a narrative whipped up by the media, and they were probably in cahoots with, you know, a lot of studios that want other movies to be dominant in cinema other than superheroes. But I don't think it's and I don't think it's fair to say, oh, well, Spider-Man does well because he's Spider-Man. Like, there's a lot of Spider-Man movies that haven't done as well as Brand New Day is doing. So, you know, and I think the genre is capable of reinvention, and we're seeing it from Marvel. I think that Superman, you know, was innovative for the genre. I haven't seen Supergirl, so I can't speak to that. But the other issue, I think, is that there was a lot of saturation, and there were a lot of made-for-TV product that just wasn't good. Like, the MCU really fucked up with a lot of its Disney Plus content. You know, Falcon and the Winter Soldier was supposed to be, you know, haymaker of a show, and it wasn't. There's a lot of shows. So, you know, and it's just oversaturation. They were making too much of it because they were trying to meet this demand that they felt was there for streamers like, you know, Disney Plus and HBO Max. And that never really worked out for live action for the most part. You know, sure, some shows did well, but, you know, even Daredevil didn't do well on Disney Plus. Like, a lot of people didn't watch it. So, yeah, I don't think superhero fatigue is a real thing. I think that people got tired of the formula. People got tired of lackluster movies. And since Endgame, that's really been the problem. We've had a lot of movies come out that just fucking suck. And, you know, Blue Beetle, I thought was horrible, but there were a lot of people that were willing to say they love Blue Beetle. And I don't think they really love Blue Beetle. I think it was just a mid movie that happened to come out at a downturn. So, you know, people will say, oh, it's a fun movie. But people love superhero genre movies, and they're never going to stop loving superhero movies. And yeah, I think fatigue was propaganda from day one.
So before you jump in, Colton, I just want to point something out. So you agreed with me, Jerry.
On which part?
You constantly said, you said multiple times, people were tired, oversaturation. People were tired of these movies. Another way of explaining tired is fatigue.
Yeah, but I don't think they're tired of superhero movies. I think they're tired of lackluster superhero movies. Big difference.
But again, I think it goes hand in hand. Colton, give me a second, Colton. It goes hand in hand with what has been happening. Again, you were getting lackluster films even in the 2010s. Batman v Superman made $900 million. Okay, that's a lackluster film.
There's a lot of people that love that movie,
but it still made $900 million. Ant-Man and the Wasp, the first Ant-Man, made $500 million. By no right, that movie should have made that much money. But
I disagree with that. I think it was a good movie. Paul Rudd is the star; he's a huge star. It had Michael Douglas also. Like, that was a great movie, and it had star power.
But so do the movies today. So do the films that are coming out today. They have star power. They have bigger stars than Paul Rudd in most of them. And it's just not succeeding. I don't know. All right, Colton, go ahead.
All right. Ding, ding, ding. It's my turn. I'm going to say I'm somewhere in the middle here. I mean, obviously, the ebb and the flow of the business, it's going to people are going to get bored with it and they're going to want horror or they're going to want comedy, whatever. But I do think we've had a direction with even Zack Snyderverse, the Snyderverse had some kind of direction it was going. When you look at Iron Man 2 Endgame, there was an overarching story. Since the end of Endgame, even with the DCU and Marvel now, there's no overall story, so no one really gives a shit. So then you have to throw something in like Avengers Doomsday that's going to be like, oh yeah, we all have a hard on. That's a familiar word. I think, there's stars and everything. It's not really the star power and anything like that. I think it's just the lack of creative direction. Like what you had Shang-Chi and you did nothing with Shang-Chi afterwards. You had the Eternals and nothing built on, and then nothing built up to Doomsday. And now all of a sudden you have Doomsday. There's nothing for anybody in between there to get excited for at all.
Justice League made $600 and almost $700 million.
That's crazy.
Right. But again, that proves that back then there weren't good movies that were making a shit ton of money. Look, you may like Ant-Man, whatever, like Ant-Man. I think it's bad. The thing that was going on then is the brand was simply Marvel superhero films. Let's go see it. This is the next big action movie. Let's go see it. And it got to a point where people were just like, I'm kind of over it. It's kind of like, oh, look, some of these movies actually aren't really good. And the ones that are good, people just aren't going to see. I think that overall just kind of proves it. And I don't understand why people have this so much hatred for hearing superhero fatigue. I don't understand that, because you could go back to the 70s and say there's Western fatigue, because there was. Westerns started to die out. In the 90s, you could say, the 80s action hero films, man, there's fatigue on that. People just aren't into it anymore. You see, they started to just not make as much money because people weren't going to see them anymore. You see this with every genre. Eventually, they just kind of die off because people just get sick of them. Again, that's not a bad thing. People act like, oh, you're saying superhero fatigue. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. There's no such thing. You're an idiot. No, I know you're not saying that. I know.
No, I said it. Damn it.
but you see that all the time, and it's like, guys, like, it's not a bad thing. Actually, if anything, I'm more excited about the prospect of superhero fatigue, because that's going to push these creatives, these filmmakers, to try and reinvent, like you said, the genre so it can get people into it again. Because this genre, where it's different from Westerns and the comedies and things like that, you can have all of that in this genre. You can have your Westerns, your comedy, your spoofs, your procedurals. You can have all of that in this. And that's what the beauty of the superhero genre. They just have to find the right way to go about doing it now, because what they did in the 2010s just doesn't work anymore. And I'll go to James Gunn and say, look, he understands that. He was seeing that. So he wanted to approach the genre a little bit differently. And people are getting mad at him for it. And they're like, what are you doing? Why are you going this route with it? You need to be more like Marvel. But when 5 years ago or 10 years ago, people are like, we don't want DC to be like Marvel. It needs to be anything but Marvel. And they have to just find the right thing. And again, I don't understand why people act like saying superhero fatigue is such a bad thing. And then you have people like John Campea, who Spider-Man comes out and makes $1 billion in the first week. He's like, where's this superhero fatigue at? Where's it at? I don't see it. And it's like, dude, it's Spider-Man. Okay. And regardless of what you want to say and saying it's not fair to say Spider-Man is going to make a shit ton of money, it's just fact of the matter. Spider-Man has been in the public eye for 30 years at this point, and on the big screen, people love Spider-Man. There's a connection to the character. And let's not forget, he's had 3 movies in the MCU already that have all done pretty well at the box office, and all have done they've had decent stories that people have enjoyed, just like Deadpool and Wolverine. All right, the first 2 Deadpool movies did well. People enjoyed them. Then you throw in the prospect of Wolverine's going to be in it. Sure, it's $1 billion movie now. Avengers, it's a big name. Avengers, like Doomsday is going to make $1 billion or more, probably $2 billion, because Avengers. like that's the thing. Like you do have those type of titles and things that will make money, but that doesn't negate that there's superhero fatigue. Because superhero fatigue doesn't mean that they're just gonna not watch any superhero movie. It just says they're losing interest in the films that typically 10 years ago there would be interest in.
Yeah, but I don't think the fatigue is over superheroes themselves. I think it's the repetitive, lackluster superhero movies. I think people aren't tired of superheroes. They're tired of being given the same superhero movie over and over and over. And if Spider-Man Brand New Day wasn't as good as it was, it wouldn't be doing as well as it is. It's not just that it's the Spider-Man brand. It's also a movie that is resonating really well with fans.
It's not even the best Tom Holland Spider-Man movie.
And
it's making this much money. So
I think
Far From Home is the best one.
I don't know with you sometimes. You know, one day you're like, Winter Soldier's the best MCU movie, and then the next you're like, well, not even the next, the same day, you hate Civil War. So
I've always, you can ask Colton. I've never liked Civil War.
I believe it. But like, that's why I don't know when you say something like Far From Home is the best Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. I don't know if it's a joke or not right away.
But no, I don't think Brand New Day is the best Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, but it is a good movie. It is. But it's going to be the highest grossing Tom Holland Spider-Man movie because it's Spider-Man. I think people always want to try and say, oh, it's not like brand doesn't matter. No, brand matters more than anything. I mean,
100%.
that's a big thing in marketing is branding. If you have a good brand, you're gonna make money. And Spider-Man is a marketable brand. You take a look at the Spider-Verse movies. Look, that first Spider-Verse movie, it's good, it's enjoyable, but is it like a billion-dollar movie? The second one was ass. I don't care what anybody says. The second one wasn't good at all. I won't say at all. It was good. It just wasn't great. It wasn't as good as the first one.
Oh, I think the second one's so much better than the first one.
And people just ate it up. Colton, you've been quiet. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm listening to your opinion. I mean, I think a lot of the problem with the genre is the loud minority bitching and complaining, or not even the minority, the loud online presence of the culture is like, we want this, we want this, we want this. So studios think, well, we got to churn out 15 projects a year. We don't care what it is. We got to send it out because that's what people want. And in reality, it's like 500 people online.
People don't know what they want until you sell it to them.
Yeah, exactly. Marketing. See, I don't know.
I'm a salesman, so.
This is a topic I think that's never going to die. And what I think is going to be interesting is we're going to see over the next probably 4 to 5 years what's going to happen with this genre. Because if DC can't get their act together and get things moving in DC, which I really hope they do, then you only have one player in the field, essentially, which is Marvel. I've been very vocal about how I worry about what's going to happen with Marvel after Secret Wars, because look, they're not going to have their Robert Downey Jr.'s and their Chris Evans, and probably Chris Hemsworth is going to walk away soon. Like, come on, he can't be Thor forever. You're going to lose some of these stars that you've had for the last 30 years, almost 30 years, and they're going to walk away, and they haven't built anything up yet for Marvel that's worth a damn. And that, to me, I sit there and say, look, if DC doesn't get their act together and they're not there to help push Marvel's just going to fall apart, and the genre is going to kind of die off for a while. I think that's just what's going to happen. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens for sure.
That's why they're really fucking up with the 2028 slate. Like Black Panther 3 without real T'Challa, and then Ghost Rider. Like, that is so crazy to me that that's what they're doing after Secret Wars. I can't even get over it.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense. It really doesn't, how they're handling things. And now there's rumors that they're going to have what's his name in Black Panther 3 again. He was in the second one.
Namor.
Namor, thank you.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
one of my favorite characters.
Well, which is fine. Like he's a cool character, but are they not able to just make a Namor film? Like like they just want to put him in there. Like, yeah, like come on, like
I would lose my shit if they made a Namor movie.
yeah.
I hope you find it.
Thanks.
Fanimator says he's stoked for Coyote versus Acme. Peely
Well, that makes one of us.
says Aquaman made over $1 billion. It wouldn't make anything close to that nowadays. 100% agree.
A lot of that is the economy and the box office being down.
Hungry Almighty says Far From Home was absolute garbage and almost made me give up MCU Smiter. Whoa. Jeez.
I didn't think it was garbage. I thought it was.
It was not. Look, I enjoyed Far From Home. It's not the best. I was joking there, but I enjoyed it enough. I like Mysterio, so like I wanted to see more of him for sure. But
Yeah, he was great.
yeah. Let's see. Hungry says Iron Man is not a C-list as people claim. Just because he wasn't a popular Spidey and X-Men doesn't mean he's some C-list. You act like Iron Man was on the same level as Guardians before the MCU. Look at his comic book sales back then. They weren't very good. And I'm not going to sit there and say that he was C-list to the point where he was ragged on or nobody knew about him. People knew about him. I knew of Iron Man back then. I knew what he was and who he was. But the general audience had zero idea who he was, just like the Guardians of the Galaxy at that point. Yes, comic book fans and superhero fans knew, but the general audience really
but he had an animated show in the 90s. He had a lot of iconic storylines.
That show was so bad, though.
I'm not saying it was good or not. I never watched it. I'm just saying, like, Guardians of the Galaxy didn't get an animated show in the 90s. Like, Iron Man was popular enough to get a show like that.
You need to look it up online. When he would get into the Iron Man suit, it would go from hand-drawn animation to computer-generated animation for his suit-up sequence to become Iron Man, and then it would go back to hand-drawn animation. It was just...
I've seen it, actually. It looks stupid.
Really dumb.
Yeah.
Hungry says there's a difference between Western and superheroes. Superheroes have a rich history of so many characters. That's why there will never be superhero fatigue.
Also, on that note, Westerns started to die out because we went to the moon and space became a really big thing after Star Wars.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong on that.
Yeah.
But the interest of people does change.
Yeah.
And you could say
change for sure. Like mafia movies used to be dominant, which they're not anymore, which sucks. And I was looking into that the other day. And supposedly the main reason is because filmmakers used to make movies about what they saw, and they don't really see mafia people outside their window in Brooklyn anymore, which is what Scorsese grew up with. He grew up watching the mafia outside his window.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I think that there is fatigue, but whatever. Yeah. There was another guy who kind of did a rebuttal of my video, and he kind of watched my video and talked about it in his video. So I was like, hey, look, somebody picked it up. So that was kind of cool.
Nice.
All right. So you guys got anything else to say?
I love the comic screenshot you had of Spider-Man.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great. I literally just typed in superhero fatigue in Google search, and it came up with this. And I didn't see the bottom part. I just saw, it's exciting. And this part was kind of like cut off, like underneath that. So I clicked on it and I was like, oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. I think that's from Nick Spencer's run.
You would know that. Matthew says people still claim Thor is still a B-lister on Reddit. They're on B-lister. On Reddit, their claim is that 4 movies does not make you A-lister. It's so stupid. Oh, sorry. I should have pulled it up. Here we go.
Well, you have to have 4 good movies. There was only one.
Ooh. I kind of agree. There's only.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I know you're probably in the same boat as me, Bob. Don't go there.
Yeah. Look, I don't think The Dark World is as bad as some people say it is. It's not like bad Civil War bad, but it's not a great movie.
What movie?
Thor: The Dark World.
I think a hot take. The best Thor movies are Thor and Thor: The Dark World. And Ragnarok and Love and Thunder, I hate them both with a fucking passion.
They screwed him up. They screwed him up as a character.
They did, bro. Like, and that's why I don't understand when people are like, "Oh, I like comic accuracy." Then how the fuck do you like those two movies? Seriously. Like,
If you want comic accurate Thor, watch the first Thor movie.
Yeah.
That is comic accurate Thor to a
Yes.
T. It is fantastic. Even Thor in the first Avengers movie, comic accurate. Like, it's just
the Russos do a great job with him too.
Man. There's a reason why they didn't use him in Civil War.
Why wasn't he in that?
Yeah, because he was looking for Natalie Portman in Star Wars. Duh, that's where the comic picks up.
Oh boy, this is ridiculous.
They claim the reason he wasn't in it was because he was off-world looking for the Infinity Stones. But I'm sure there's a real business reason.
Probably. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, he was in Star Wars looking for Natalie Portman. Duh.
Can you blame him?
Not even remotely.
Oh boy. All right. Well, guys, I think that's all we got for today. That's all we got. Hungry says Captain America at least got his own show and even appeared in the other forms of animation, unlike a character like Guardians. So no, Slav, Cap and Guardians before the MCU weren't on the same level. I didn't say Captain America was.
No, he was lower.
No, Captain America has been known since, for decades, because he was
since like World War II.
He's that's
It's hard to be named Captain America and not just be iconic from day one.
Yeah, exactly. But all right, guys, where can they find you, Jerry?
At Comics Cuts, all platforms, mainly on X.
And Colton.
White Ruby 53 everywhere. I don't really use social media though.
Because you're a loser.
Yeah, find me on Xbox, White Ruby 53.
There you go. You can find me, Slav's Free Talk, on Twitter, or BridgingTheGeekdoms on Twitter as well. You can follow my show, Slav's Free Talk, over at Slav's Free Talk on YouTube. Mondays, I do a DC-centric show, and then Tuesdays, I do a watch-along where, hey, we watch movies. This past week, we watched Captain America, I almost said Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Captain America, the Winter Soldier. The week before was Batman Begins. Week before that was Man of Steel. Before that was Superman. So we're just watching pop culture films and having a good time and just discussing things, and it's a good time. So yeah, one of you guys, I don't want you both on at the same time, because too many people at once kind of just you don't pay attention to the movie. But I definitely have one of you on one week, one on another.
See,
week.
you can have both of us on, because I'll just start watching the movie and then realize, oh shit, I need to be talking.
But yeah, all right, guys, this was a lot of fun. Everyone, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe, and we will catch you all later.
Later.